Well, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us as we are going to make our pressed flowered monograms. Glad everyone could make it. And if you've got your stuff ready, you can make along with us, or you can watch it and get some tips, tricks, and make your project afterwards. These make great gifts. They could be put on cards. I'm going to be making mine to go in a frame, but they're good for Mother's Day, just for your own home decor, or for friends, or you can even sell them, make them custom monogram pictures and sell them, whatever you'd like to do. They are just a great addition to your home decor, or very versatile. You can put them on anything. They don't have to be just cards or framed art, but I'm going to be making mine for a frame today. So if you're making along with this today, if you're going to put it in a frame, you'll want a frame, picture frame with a mat. You will want cardstock, and you'll want this even if you're going to make cards. I'm just using a plain white background for my monogram, but you can use the color one if you want. Cardstock, the mat. I have my pattern printed out. I'm going to be giving this as a gift for a friend. Their last name starts with F, and so that's what I'm using for my pattern today. I would recommend block letters because they give you more space to put flowers, and they're also easy using this method. It's easier to cut out and use. So the thicker the pattern, the easier it will be. You'll want some double-sided tape. This is a whole sheet, so it gives us options for what we can do with it. We won't be using the whole sheet. We'll just be using just the size for our pattern, so we'll have lots left for other projects. Your pressed flowers of choice, my friends, they love blue and pink, and so that's what I'm going to be making mine with. And then I'm going to be demonstrating how we're going to trace it using a light and a piece of glass. But I'll explain when we get to that part, a way you could easily do it at your house. But just for simplicity and having it in my workspace, I'll be doing it this way. So let's jump in. Now, like I said, I'm using an F. Now, if you have maybe an uppercase I or an H or something, it doesn't matter whether it's front or back, it looks the same, then this won't apply to you. But I'm actually going to be using my pattern backwards. And so if you have a letter that has to be, is only right one way, you will want to print out your pattern backwards. This is because of our double-sided tape. So I'm going to put that aside because I'm not going to use that. And we only need a little bit of the letter. And so that you can kind of see what I'm doing, I'm going to trim down my pattern a little bit. And I've also already pre-cut a smaller piece of double-sided tape so that it also fits. But you just need it to be a little bit bigger than your pattern. So you will want a little bit of tape to hold your pattern in place. But like I said, I'm using a piece of glass, but the easiest way to do it is take your pattern and go and stick it to your window. So pretend this little pane of glass I'm using is a window. So I'm just going to tape my pattern down so it doesn't move on me. Then I'm going to take my tape, and the light from the window will make this tracing easier. So I'm going to use this little light to simulate. So you can see my pattern coming through. And so I only need it to go, you just want a little bit, you just need a little bit of space on your double-sided tape. So once I have that lined up, I'm also going to stick that down. It's just easier if it doesn't move on you to trace it. Don't have to stick it down a lot, just a piece or two to tack it in place. Then you can take a pen or a pencil, marker, whatever you'd like, and we're just going to trace the outside of it so that we can see where it is. And the reason it's back too will make sense in just a minute. So there. You do want to trace it as nicely as you can, because this is not only going to be the guide for where to put the pressed flowers, but for cutting afterwards. And if you're doing a window, you won't have to move your light like this. So once I get it traced, I can darken it later to make sure that I can see it. But right now I'm just going for getting the pattern onto my double-sided tape. So this is actually the back of our pattern, which is why we're doing it, which is why the F is backwards. Because we're going to be sticking our flowers to the front of it, which will then make it the proper way. So I have my pattern traced, so I don't need my light anymore. Okay. Peel the tape off. Fix the parts that get tape over. And we are finished with this pattern. I'm just gonna, just the ends. Now to make sure you guys can see on the camera, I'm gonna darken this side so that it'll show through when we flip it over. You might want to do this too, just to make sure you can see it on the other side. So we'll guide where we put our flowers down. Okay. Especially if you're using a big sheet, you just leave a little bit around the pattern. And so I'm going to cut out a little bit closer to where my pattern is. And that's all we're going to need. You don't want to cut right up to the line yet. So leave a little bit of space there. There we go. Since we have our pattern ready, you want to make sure that your cardstock is ready. Since I'm using it in a frame, I'm going to need to make sure it will fit my frame. So I'm going to take my mat, so I don't get marks on it. I'm going to put my mat upside down. But since this mat fits in my frame, I'm just going to trace this. Cut out my cardstock. Okay. Now we're ready for our flowers. I'm going to set this aside just for a little bit. We're going to need our double-sided tape pattern. You want to flip it over. And what we're going to do is we're going to get the white piece off there. To get us started is a little tricky, but you want to leave the tape stuck to the yellow side. So just carefully peel. You can see what's going on. This stuff I'm using tends to want to stick to the white side better until I get it started. Okay, now we are sticky on the yellow side. I would recommend, if you're using smaller flowers, you don't have to peel the whole thing off right away. I would peel just a little bit down, enough space that you can put some flowers, and then peel it as you go. Sometimes as you get around the corners, you might just peel it off, but it gets very sticky. And if you drop a flower, it's going to want to stick. It's also going to want to stick to your fingers. So it's just easier for handling if you don't peel the whole thing right away. I hope you can see the bottom of my F there. You can see my pattern. So we're going to make sure we cover everything inside our pattern. It's hard to see on camera, but it does show up better in person. So you'll be able to see your pattern. We're going to take our tweezers. They come in handy for placing our flowers where we want them. It's best to, if you can, handle them from the center because the petals are very delicate. It's not always possible, but whenever possible, that is the best thing to do. Otherwise, just be very gentle on handling your flowers. So I'm going to place it where it kind of bleeds out past the pattern, which is why we left a little bit of space around it. But I do want to cover as much inside the pattern as I can. And I'm just going to alternate my colors. I'm going to try to use the fuller flowers first, because any place that's left without a petal is going to be sticky when you're finished. I'm going to overlap my flowers just a little bit too. And it is very sticky stuff. Now you can use a variety of leaves, flowers. You can use just flower petals if you want to. They don't have to be whole flowers. We're just filling in our design to make our monogram. Get creative as you'd like. You can use multiple colors, all one color, different flowers or petals for different textures. And for now, you don't have to worry about, some of my petals are loose. You see, like right here. That's because they're layered and only the bottom is sticking down. But since I'm putting it in a frame, they're going to be pushed flat against the glass and will be protected that way. If you are making it in a card, I would recommend laminating it or covering it somehow to protect it, especially where it's going to be going in an envelope and you could catch those. So if you laminate it or use clear contact paper or something to protect those petals from being broken by being handled or in the envelope, that would be, I would highly recommend that. Use smaller flowers for the end. And a little pink one. Now I did have some kind of silver leaves ready, just in case I had some spaces that I wanted to fill. But could put those in first and then spread my flowers out a little bit. But I was really going for pink and blue because those are my friend's favorite colors. So once you have your flowers arranged the way you like them, you want to get your scissors, and we're going to be very careful because this is very sticky. The edges are really sticky. They stick to your fingers. Just pick this up. And we want to do our best to not bend the flowers. It will happen a little bit, but we just want to be extra careful of that we don't do it more than necessary. Sometimes it's hard when cutting. But we're going to flip this over. And now we're going to cut pattern out. It is very sticky stuff. And I would recommend when cutting the straight lines to go and just snip off the whole end. Because that could easily bend over and stick to your flowers that you don't want it to stick to. It could stick to you, it sticks to your scissors. It's just easier if you remove it in small pieces instead of trying to do the whole thing. Right now it's sticking to my scissors. And there will be parts of the flowers that come off because there would be the layered parts that aren't stuck down completely. But that's just the tips that you're cutting off that are outside your pattern. Just gonna cut this little piece off. Do the same on this side. And these little inside parts are the hardest to cut. Again, it's going to be very difficult to not bend at all, but you do want to try your best to minimize. What about little pressed flowered scissors? Smaller scissors are definitely better for these tight spaces. Although I don't like to use these on paper, I reserve these just for my pressed flowers, but my bigger scissors are not quite good for this job. I'll go back to these scissors. I said, if you're following along, you know what I mean. It's very sticky stuff. I missed the little part of my thing here, so I'm gonna just fix this. There we go. Now if we flip it over. There's my monogram. So if you're happy with it, you can go on to the next step. If you find that you still have maybe a little bit of space between, you can take some of these extra petals that had fallen off when we were trimming. Let's see. And you can use them to fill in any gaps if you want. Remember that the yellow, we are going to peel the yellow off, and so it's going to be clear tape. Do have a little space right there. Stick that down. So you can use these pieces to do any adjustments that you'd like before moving on to the next step. Like that. When you're happy with it, then we are ready to stick it down. Just move these out of the way a little bit. So I'm going to need my cardstock, and I'm going to use my mat since that will show me where I need to stick it down, help guide me. But I did make my pattern so it fit just inside my mat. So I'm going to line these up that they would go in the frame. Carefully line them up. Now again, we're going to carefully flip pattern over. And again, you don't want to just peel the whole thing because it's not going to be, this backing helps give it support and structure. So it's going to be a little more floppy. It's going to be bendable. So I recommend only peeling off what you have to at the time. Again, when it comes to doing corners, it gets a little tricky. But to start, I would just take it and just carefully peel off a little bit, just to get it started. Be very gentle with the sticky side because that's got the flowers on it. Once I get it started a little bit, I'm going to put it down. Tweezers come in handy for this. I'm actually going to hold the sticky part down towards the table to help keep it flat. Whenever possible, doing what you can to keep it flat is going to help save your, protect your flowers. Though the tape does give them a little structure. So I've just folded a little bit just to get it started, because I can now, without putting this end down that I got started, I can carefully place it and get it positioned where it should go. So I think So holding your flower in place. Now I've folded that over. So I'm going to now stick down that part, the first part. So now we're going to try to get it stuck down as flat as possible now that we have it, our starting point positioned. This might take a little bit of practice. Just go very slow, be very careful. But the end result is beautiful. I'm going to take my tweezers and I'm going to reach in under and grab that tab of the tape. I'm going to continue to peel the backing off. Again, trying not to bend. Definitely don't want to crease or bend it sharply. But just pulling the backing. So then this can go down and stick as we peel. Now I've already got it started, so I'm going to just remove this because it's kind of in the way. Just gently, slowly peeling. I'm just using my fingers to try to keep this flat. And right now, I'm just going to change and peel this end piece off. Like I said, gets a little tricky. There we go. I'm pressing it down as I go and also trying to hold my actual letter flat so that the flowers don't bend too much. I'm just supporting the flowers. Now that I have just the one piece left to go, I said, you gotta be careful. It's sticky. I want to make sure that the top of the F goes straight. Straight as I can get it. There we go. Push it down. Make sure it's stuck down really good. Let's see what it looks like. Yep. There we go. Looks good. Since I'm putting it in a frame, that's all it needs to happen now. Take my frame apart. I used my glass as my tracing thing, so put that in there. Now, before I give this to my friend, I am actually, oops, forgot to put my mat in. I am actually going to vacuum seal this, and this will protect the color of these pressed flowers. It will keep them from fading for years. It is the best way to protect your pressed flower art. If it's going in a frame, you definitely want to vacuum seal it. Just put it in here so you can see what it looks like. Doing cards will also help protect your flowers if you laminate it, not only from handling, but anything you can do to seal out moisture and sunlight will prolong the color in your flowers, because all pressed flowers will fade in time, but vacuum sealing will prolong the color for many, many years. Laminating it, anything you can do to keep humidity and sunlight away from your flowers will help prolong the color and leave them beautiful for longer. So just with any project, you keep in mind, if you're gluing it down and it's not going to be laminated or anything, you could put a sealant on it. You could put glue, glue over the top of it. Anything you can do to seal it away from both UV sunlight and humidity or moisture will definitely help. So if you made along with us, or even if you're watching the replay and you've made your monogram, take a picture of it, share it in the Facebook group. We would love to see what you've made. Share what you're going to do with it too. If you're going to give it as a gift, Mother's Day, you're just going to hang it on your wall. We'd love to see where you've put it, if you've made cards. You could even do monograms where you do the whole initials, not just one letter like we've done today, but the technique would be the same. Maybe you print them out a little smaller and you have the big one, little one. Get creative, share what you've made. We'd love to see it in the Facebook group. And thank you so much for joining us and making along with us. And I hope you've enjoyed making these pressed flowered monograms. Thanks and take care.